Welcome back to another UNC football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're checking us out on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated, I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me, as she so often does, our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. And Deana, along with our videographer, Kevin Roy, you guys were in Matthews, North Carolina on Sunday for the VTO 100 Elite 100 camp, which included a couple of Carolina commits for the class of 2021, several targets whom we addressed in a prior podcast. So we're going to kind of hit on one of the committed kids, someone that you continue to get to know better and better. And I know that you've enjoyed this process because he's loaded with personality, loaded with amazing athletic gifts, and could end up being a fantastic football player down the road for the Tar Heels. RaRa Dillworth. Am I pronouncing his first name right? Because all I ever think of is RaRa Dillworth, one of the great names of anybody I've ever covered in sports, and this is my 25th year. So tell us about RaRa on Sunday and all the fun he was having, and all the fun you guys were having watching him and talking with him.
Well, his name perfectly fits because RaRa, he is RaRa. He has his own distinct personality, full of energy. He's just on the go. My first chance talking to him with an interview, he gave me the stern look in the interview, but when the competition and the camp started, you saw his personality open up and the competitor that he is.
Fun. That's what Kevin said when I talked to Kevin last night on the phone for a while about the camp, and he said fun. The guy just has fun, and he makes everybody else around him have fun too.
Well, he was the highest rated prospect there, a 4-star who possibly could be one of the top players in the country when the next rankings come out for rivals. And to have a kid like that come to the VTO camp, which normally has kids that probably don't have any college interests or offers. There's some there that have some offers from schools like James Madison, Old Dominion, Elon, and North Carolina Central, D2 schools. And to see a kid like RaRa come in there who's nationally known and just everybody knows who he is, to show up and compete with them, it had to light a fire in some of these kids to have a chance to go up against a prospect like RaRa.
When it was interesting because reading your text messages to me and your tweets on Twitter, a lot of stuff about RaRa, and then talking with you and Kevin since the camp, you actually, and just sort of laying out his personality and just observing him, you said one of the things that struck you about him is that he's extremely confident, but he's not at all arrogant. And that's kind of a fine line. To me, it's impressive that someone who's still in high school can be extremely confident and not yet arrogant. A lot of people in high school are arrogant, and they're arrogant before they're confident. It just kind of comes with the territory at that age. Why do you think that he has already been able to sort of figure out where that line is and not cross it? Just he knows when he walks on the field, he's one of the best players there. He knows when he walks into a room, the room lights up in a lot of ways. But he is there with those kids that may not have any offers, and he's competing with them, and he's kind of treating them as equals. He's not looking down on them like a lot of highly touted kids in high school tend to do.
Well, when I spoke to you, I told you that, you know, he'd come in, he was very confident. And like you said, you know, it's not a cocky confident. It's just that he has great desire. And when we're going to talk about RaRa, I want to mention a few words: confident, desire, heart, the desire to be the best. He wants to be the best linebacker in the nation. And he has the desire, the heart. You're always seeing him on social media working out. You know, he's not resting on these rankings, laurels that he's getting by all these recruiting services. He has a scholarship offer commitment to UNC. You know, some kids, they feel if they committed to a school, they may just not put the effort to go out and continue to work and craft their trade on the football field. RaRa wants to get better. And there's a little rivalry, I think, brewing between him and Power to see who is going to be that linebacker, because we know what accolades Power has and everything. But RaRa's even wrote on social media, I'm gunning for that number one spot. So if a kid can come out that has already basically got his college, the next level lined up, come out to a camp of 180 odd kids in 95-degree heat, work out for 6 to 7 hours in this heat, and just love it and just eat it up with the competition, that says a lot about RaRa.
And you referred to Power Eccles, also a class of 21 UNC linebacker commit, 4-star kid as well. RaRa is also a recruiter. I mean, he is recruiting. We talked before about Keyshawn Silver being a recruiter, but when we've talked to some other kids, and not all the ones, a lot of the ones you've talked to, when asked, what current commits in the 21 class, for example, are recruiting you, RaRa's name comes up a lot. And you talked to him a little bit about that on Sunday.
Yeah, RaRa, him and Keyshawn, they're like a dynamic duo. When RaRa joined Keyshawn, they're like Batman and Robin. Of course, RaRa thinks he's Batman. Keyshawn thinks he's Batman. But they're a dynamic duo. He brought up that he's trying to get Tyrion Ingrams-Dawkins, the big defensive lineman out of Gaffney, South Carolina. But, like I said in the other podcast, RaRa, something about him, the kids are drawn to him. Albert Red is like connected to the hip with him. His Glenn teammate, that's a 22 linebacker that recently got the offer from Carolina. He was mingling with Malachi Hamrick, the 2022 linebacker defensive end from Shelby. Michael Allen, the running back from Rose. Dontavis Nash was there. So RaRa had a little tag team partner there at the camp. Bryson Nesbitt showed up. He didn't participate in the camp, but it just tells you what kind of kid RaRa is. He kind of left the field where his group was and went to where Dontavis and Bryson Nesbitt were talking, and just come over, pat him on the back, give him, how the guys do. They give a little elbow bump or something just to say hi. That's RaRa's little recruiting pitch to say, hey, Bryson, how's it going? And Don Davis is the same way. They're all their goal is to win the Natty. I think Tony Grimes made that little slogan famous. They're going to win the Natty. So RaRa's trying to get the best of North Carolina or the region to join them.
If you are a social media person and you spend time on Twitter and you care about Carolina football recruiting, if you're not following RaRa, you need to, because just him alone, 8, 10, 12, 20 times a day, some pretty entertaining tweets. He was even putting some stuff out again the other day of him and the photo shoot he did on one of his visits in Chapel Hill in uniform. The kid's just excited. I would imagine for him, the next, however many months it's going to be before he shows up on campus cannot happen too quickly. He wants to get there and get this thing going.
Well, I'm sure Coach Brown and the staff, they're just going to they're going to love RaRa, because he's the type of kid that they want in the program, a constant energy guy. I see him being an outstanding leader because he is so vocal, and the limelight, some kind of shy away from the limelight. RaRa wants all eyes on him. and he's put out some videos from the camp where he did some good things there on the camp, and you'll see in Kevin's ISO videos some of the personality that RaRa has, and like I said, the name fits him. I'll not call him Ranieria. I think Jeremy, when when he signs and everything, they ought to just put RaRa Dillworth and not Ranieria, because that's what everybody's going to know him as.
Yeah, that's when we talk about him, we just say RaRa. So I think that's what everyone will know him as. If you want to get more information on Carolina football recruiting, basketball recruiting, and the current Tar Heel teams in Chapel Hill, go to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Just $8.33 a month. You get access to literally everything that we do, and we do plenty. If you like this video, go ahead and click like. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we send something out. We do a lot of videos as well. And of course, subscribe to Tar Heel Illustrated here on YouTube. And go to TarHeelIllustrated.com and check us out. She's Deana King. I'm Andrew Jones. Thank you for stopping by.